Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Bill DeHerter, and I'm going to be explaining how you can craft your best personal statement. First, if you are in a situation where you have to write a personal statement, generally you can consider this document to be a version of your life story told through the lens of what you want to do after you graduate. Before we get into the basic components of this document, it's important to think about your writing situation. A committee has typically been assembled to select an individual or a small group of people for a position or funding. That committee does not want to give their resources away to someone who is going to give up, drop out, or fail. If they have a strong pool of candidates, they likely want to select the person who is most likely to benefit or give back to their field. Often, a lot of people apply to these opportunities, and committee members have to skim through application materials. So, while some academic programs may ask for a specific word count, it is generally advisable in the medical world to keep your personal statements short. You will have about 1 page, about 4 paragraphs to convince, to persuade others that you are the best choice. In general, there are 3 basic rhetorical moves a writer uses to put a committee at ease in this situation. First, the writer shows that they are emotionally or personally invested in their career choice. This is, after all, a personal statement. Second, the writer shows that they have a proven record of accomplishment. Third, the writer expresses continued commitment by articulating a mission for the future. These 3 basic argumentative maneuvers are represented in the basic document components I'll explain next. There are 4 basic components of a personal statement: describing your personal background, your academic history, your extracurricular history, and your career goals. You don't have to use all of these components, and these components do not have to be presented in this order. If you do use all 4 of these, I would plan on dedicating a paragraph to each to fit everything onto 1 page. If, for example, you decide to skip the interests and activities component, you might dedicate 2 paragraphs to explaining your academic history. So, before writing a personal statement, it can be advantageous to reflect on your experiences. What were the most powerful moments for you, and how can you organize those moments so that they make sense to your reader? Let's dive a little deeper into each of these components so you gain a better idea of what is commonly included in a personal statement. The first common component of a personal statement is the personal background section. Here, the writer explains how they got interested in their field. In the medical world, stories of illness, injury, or death are common starting points in the document, but a writer might also draw connections between the work ethic of a particular family member or certain hobbies and sports and the medical field. This section might start with a statement like, "I first knew I wanted to go into medicine when," or perhaps a story of a traumatic personal life event, like breaking an arm. It's typically good for this section to conclude with a thesis statement that will focus the rest of the document, something the paragraphs and examples to come can speak back to. Maybe this section concludes with something like, "I began to realize that I wanted to help others get a second chance at life, just as someone had helped me." Or maybe, "This passion for working with my hands and helping others has continued throughout my life." Also, as an aside here, keep in mind that it is also good to include technical, field-specific language throughout the personal statement. This can demonstrate your knowledge of that particular area of study. Next, personal statements typically describe the most important aspects of a writer's academic and professional accomplishments. You might think back on your experience and carefully select 1 or 2 powerful and important moments. Try to tie them back to the thesis statement of the background section. If your thesis was about helping people, for example, how do the moments you selected support that narrative? It's key to maintain that emotional core in a personal statement. This is your opportunity to let someone get to know you, to let them gain a sense of who you are and what drives you. In medicine, it is common for writers to share details of an experience that happened while working, but you might also include experience that happened while in coursework. Third, some writers might have really powerful experiences to share from their hobbies or volunteer work. My advice, again, is to carefully select the most powerful examples you have that speak back to your overall narrative about yourself. If your academic and training experiences tell a more compelling story, use those examples and skip this section. It is less common to include. The final section of the personal statement reiterates the writer's interest in the opportunity and conveys a vision for the writer's life after they graduate. This section emphasizes what the writer is applying for, their personal characteristics, what makes them well suited for the opportunity, and their career aspirations. It's usually best, again, for the vision, characteristics, or personal goal to speak back to the motivation established in the first section, that thesis statement at the end of the personal background. This can help ensure a cohesive narrative about yourself. These sections describe what is typical in a personal statement, but everyone has their own story, and you can experiment to find what structure may be most effective given your life experiences thus far. My general advice, however, is to be thoughtful about your writing situation and the purpose of each paragraph you construct. Topic sentences can really help you organize your draft for its best impact. For example, if a personal statement included all 4 sections described in this video, statements such as these could help the writer define the purpose of each paragraph as a component in a single cohesive personal narrative that not only shares details, but grants insights into your emotional drive, helping the reader care about you as a person. There's a document breakdown on personal statements. If you have any questions or if you'd like to learn more, you can visit our website for additional resources and access our appointment scheduler. Thanks for watching, and I hope you have a great day.